What is up, guys? Welcome to Boomer Base. Today we're here for episode 4 of Delicious in Dungeon. I apologise, it is quite a bit late. I just started watching an array of other new 2024 animes and they took a hold over me, so I apologise for the late video. But let's stop all that and then let's get into it, so let's get cracking. But before we get to the real content, if you end up liking what you see and want to see more, please subscribe and hit the bell to be notified anytime I upload. Episode 4 of Delicious in Dungeon. What are my initial thoughts? Well, it was much more melancholic than I was expecting after last episode with the squishy clam knights. And we just kind of took a step back in the, I suppose in some ways maybe the wrong direction, but maybe, as I mentioned last episode, maybe that isn't the vibe of this anime, which is totally fine. We took a step back from any combat, and we basically just got to learn more about Senshi's life. So he resides on these levels, he maintains it and looks after it. We got to learn about shops a little bit, although that didn't last very long. But going forward, if you don't want to know about what happens in episode 4, just giving you that spoiler warning now, go watch it and return. If not, and you're happy, then continue and listen away. So, as I mentioned, we learn a bit more about Senshi. He has some of the leftover food, and they go to try sell it at a sort of vendor that is unhappy that they're selling vegetables and wants money, and they're about to kind of get robbed, and then a bunch of orcs turn up and just basically murder them all. Bar our main gang of people, but to understand why we got here and why we had the spare vegetables, we learned that Senshi is basically like a janitor of this floor. He maintains these golems that are made of dirt, and that are basically his garden. He has a room where there's just 3 golems in. We learned, I think there used to be 12, but now there's 3, in which he just grows vegetables on them and then comes to harvest them. And with the help of the gang, it took a lot less time than usual. Obviously, having an extra 4 people does help, and whatnot. Marcel got very upset because I think it's an illegal thing to do to have your own golem farm or something. I don't really know the ins and outs of the world, but I mean, it seemed like a very, I wouldn't say prosperous or profitable, but like a very humane way to basically have slave golems that are your garden patches, if you like. And then we found out that there's designated toilet spaces on this floor and that they're maintained and things, and we find out that Senshi is the one that maintains them. He collects all the, poop and stuff as fertilizer to use and whatnot. So basically, we went from a kind of combat sort of darker tone in episode 3 to a really sort of humbling, melancholic episode, which randomly was really nice and comforting. It did all in such a nice way. We got to just learn more about Senshi, which I really loved. We took a step back from some of the other characters, pretty much Chilchuck. Did nothing other than speak a little bit. Laios only got to talk a few times, which was completely fine. I'd rather not just have an episode of him being I wonder how I eat that monster. They cooked up a nice sort of vegetable stew with some of the leftover basilisk meat, and that was nice again. I love seeing the cooking in this, and it's really cute, that sort of Dragon Quest Ghibli style that they have. But that's pretty much what happened prior to the sort of orc ambush and things. And they seem to know Senshi. Senshi seems to, be a wheeling and dealing with all different types of things, as keeping the golems essentially stop higher monsters coming up, but the orcs are higher monsters, and they've come up because the red dragon is looming around on other levels. So I don't know if in a couple of episodes we're going to get back into that sort of action or not. I don't really know. But yeah, there's a lot of sort of go-betweens with the orcs. There's a big sort of thing that keeps happening with Marcel, being because she's an elf and things. The orc leader's just my people were oppressed and killed. She's the orcs did their fair share of murdering, so that's why even when the orcs were on lower levels, they've come back up to kill people and things. And there's a lot of tension between them, and in which they're both making very valid points. From our point of view, we want to side more with Marseille, but we're seeing orcs not in a crazy, like, you know, aggressive, non-thinking state. Yeah, they did murder a bunch of tavern people, but they need things to feed their tribe, which, you know, if it was the roles reversed and it was the humans that were the savages, a bit like some sort of barbarians and things, then yeah, we'd probably side more with the orcs and whatnot. So both made very valid points. The bit that I found fucking hilarious, that they found some fermented stuff in the sort of tavern pub, and, you know, Senshi just starts making bread, and whilst Marseille and the orc leader are arguing, he basically gets them to start like kneading dough and stuff amongst all this fighting. And then when it was proving and things, they like stopped arguing and whatnot. And the orc leader had like a son and things, or at least I think it was a son. And that was a very cute element, sort of like showing him how like strong and things dad was, and, you know, a man of his word. They kind of manipulated him a little bit, but like Senshi just wanted to make fucking bread, to be honest. And then, you know, it became this sort of big like montage of Senshi cooking and whatnot, the orc people starting to come over, and like they just had a big like cookout, almost. Like they just shared all the food together, and it was real nice. And the gang got to leave at the end without being like eaten and robbed to poor. But they started to work together, and the orc leader showed Laios where the sort of red dragon is residing. So I think we're getting back onto the red dragon track. I really don't know what's to come from episode 5 and 6. By the time I put this episode out, probably the day after the next episode will have aired. So be very quick back to back. But no, I had a lot of fun for kind of just like cooling off in this episode. It was a nice sort of return to calmness, if you like. It was just sweet. I'll say short, but it wasn't short because it was still the same length as the other episodes, but it felt comforting. I watched it late at night, and it just further added to that. I think, like, if I'd been left with a cliffhanger like normal action ending, I'd have been like, oh, fucking damn it, I gotta wait a week for another episode. But this was just kind of like, oh, okay, we're on to the next bit. Love that. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It was a good episode. I am someone that does enjoy those kind of fighting elements and just further progression of either getting stronger or leveling up. So it's a different type of anime for me. I've got a few other videos coming soon, as with trying to maintain watching films and putting out reviews and stuff. Doing weekly episodes of anime reviews is a little bit time consuming for 2 already. Not too bad, but it's an extra sort of thing where it's like I can't pick and choose. Like this one's come late and I feel bad about it. But I've got a couple of episodes coming out for anime specifics where it'll be first impressions, so I hope that all goes well and whatnot, because I want to talk about them, because I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far, but I don't want to wait till the end to have them come out. So I think there's the first 3 or 4 episodes come out, so I think that's enough to sort of gauge a good interest on the anime, but stay tuned for those. I'm loving them so far. Still loving Delicious in Dungeon. It's still really good so far, and it's just nice. So I think if an anime can, at least at its basic nature, just be really nice to watch, I definitely think it's worth watching. So if, like I say in most of the videos, if you haven't started watching it, give it a go. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and tune into the next episode of Delicious in Dungeon episode reviews. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Hey, thank you for watching the video. Click the button to keep watching, or click the other video for more videos, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.